Okay, so I'm currently on the third try of recording this video, which maybe should tell me something about the fate of this video, but I'm stubborn, so I'm going to keep going. The first time I tried to record it, there was no sound at all, and the second time I tried to record it, sound recorded for 2.5 minutes and then mysteriously cut out. The good news is that now, since I've gotten so much fucking practice doing this and answering these questions, this should be pretty easy. So, most of the questions are from my sister because she wanted me to be uncomfortable in front of my followers. Uh, so, to keep this from becoming an interview in between her and myself, I'm going to use some of the questions other people have asked me that I haven't gotten around to answering because I think I'm extremely important. A while ago, Andy asked me, and I never got around to answering this because I'm a bad person. She asked me, what are my 5 favorite animated movies, in all caps, and said that she does what she wants, which is true. And at first, I was extremely anxious about this question because I love me some animated movies. But after I thought about it, it was pretty obvious which ones are the winners. Number 1, How to Train Your Dragon, forever and always the winner of my heart. Uh, Hercules, the Disney version, Tangled, Mulan, and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I like really awesome music, dudes who are adorably awkward, and my lady characters to be as strong as hell. So, that's not my opinion. Those are actually the 5 best animated movies, just in case you were curious. Um, Ellie, whose 3 favorite foods are cupcakes, black bean burgers, and froyo, in case you all were wondering, um, sees that I'm in a long distance relationship and wants to know just how long of a distance. It is fairly considerable because I'm in Wisconsin and he is in England. So that's not ideal. But we Skype on the daily and see each other about every 6 months because he is a brave person who will get on a plane to come to a country that he's never been to. So that's exciting for me. It is 94 days until the next time I'm going to see him, in case you wanted to know where the countdown was. That's cool. Rose is a smartass. Rose, aka Shelby, also known only to me as Shelbos, wants to know how much wood a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. So I looked it up, and the answer is that New York State wildlife expert Richard Thomas found that a woodchuck can and does chuck 35 cubic feet of dirt when it digs a burrow. And I didn't even know woodchucks do that, so I learned something today. He reasons that a woodchuck would probably chuck the same amount of wood. So that means about 700 pounds of wood rose. So there. Audrey asks, if I could be any donut, what dinosaur would I be? And this is a reference to a director we had in a musical in high school when the two of us sisters played the ugly stepsisters in Cinderella, and I will get a visual aid. Blammo. Oh, and look, you can see my desk behind you. Yeah, that's me in the pigtails and her in all the fat. She's not actually that fat. She had to wear sleeping bags, pillows, blankets, and fuzzy dice in her costume to make her that fat. So that was fun. And our director, when we were auditioning, would ask us these probing personal questions to put us at ease or to make us even less comfortable. Either one. Regardless, I would be a triceratops with sprinkles. She also asks me to describe my first long term boyfriend and admits that she just wants me to tell my followers about how awful Joey was with his milk and chicken habits. Joey. My sophomore year in college, I was experiencing a 3-year dry spell. I hadn't kissed any dudes or wanted to kiss any dudes since my junior year of high school, and I hadn't even been interested in anybody because I have extremely high standards. But Joey managed to skate by virtue of being there. So he was, nice enough at first, and then he was kind of an inconsiderate douche. As far as his milk habits go, he wasn't the kind of guy who would pour himself a glass of milk and then go sit down to eat with his milk. He was the kind of guy who would pour himself a glass of milk and go sit down to eat with the milk jug in tow in case of milk emergencies, like running out of milk. So There was that. There was also his chicken habit. I'm being extremely literal when I say the only food he ever wanted to eat was chicken. It wasn't like chicken and mashed potatoes, chicken and green beans, fried chicken, and I don't even know what you eat with fried chicken. More fried chicken. It was just chicken, chicken, and chicken. Maybe a side of chicken. And then if he was good, he would treat himself to some chicken. It was truly horrifying to see him at a KFC. Audrey also wants to know what's the most embarrassing thing to happen to me in a public place. And this is difficult to answer because I don't get embarrassed very easily. A lot of people say that, and I think it's actually true for me. Um, it's like if I fall up the stairs in public, that's hilarious, and I'm gonna laugh. If I walk into the wrong classroom, I will go, what a hilarious misunderstanding, and then I'll walk out. It's just I don't. Maybe if I was walking through the Union and my pants fell down and I spontaneously shat myself, I would probably be pretty embarrassed, but only because that's gross, not because it's socially absurd. It's pretty much ridiculous to shit yourself in public, and I would be mortified. So the most embarrassing thing to happen to me in a public place is hypothetically pooping myself. Audrey wants to know what's my favorite feature, both personality wise and looks wise, on a dude. As far as personality goes, just being nice is really awesome. Like, there are perks, such as my B friend has, like being really funny, being ridiculously smart, or liking the same weird TV shows that I like. And those are benefits on top of the foundation of being a nice dude. That's good for anyone to be nice. Be nice. It's easy. As far as looks, probably the most non-mainstream thing that I like is a big honker. I loves me some big noses. Or en español, me gustan los narices grandes. You're welcome for that. And luckily, my bee friend has the one nose to rule them all. So I got pretty fortunate there. Audrey's last question was, what's my favorite genre of music? And I'm going to cheat and do a blanket answer of soundtracks. Whether it's Broadway soundtracks, I'm really into Broadway, old school and new school, belting it out when your roommate's not here, or in the car when you're walking to class. That's how I walk. Soundtracks are the best. Or if it's instrumental soundtracks for movies, like the How to Train Your Dragon soundtrack by John Powell is amazing, and it's great to do homework to, as is the Pirates of the Caribbean 3 soundtrack by Hans Zimmer, and WALL-E by, I'm going to say Thomas Newman, and Audrey will eviscerate me if that's wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Thomas Newman who did the WALL-E soundtrack, and that's the best music to tumble to. Take my word for it. Give it out, give it a try, soundtracks. Rose also asks, who is my favorite man besides my boyfriend? She was going to ask penis, but that's just awkward. And I don't know, if you had asked my favorite penis, I honestly don't know what I would have said, so I'm glad you just went for favorite man, personally. This one's really hard to answer, even if you break it down into people who actually exist and people who are fictional. Because if it's fictional people, you've got the Doctor, you've got Rupert Giles, you've got Fred and George Weasley, Garrus Vakarian. I could go on for days about this. Men who are awesome and who don't actually exist. People who are actual people, like my brother, or Defense Secretary Robert M. Gates, who I kind of have a giant political boner for, or Zachary Levi, who I have a less specifically political boner for. Those are men who exist and who are pretty awesome, but it's extremely hard to narrow it down to just one guy out of all the guys who's the best guy. But if I had to choose one, it would be Mr. Abraham Lincoln, also known to his close friends as Babraham Lincoln. He is the best president ever. I can't quantify my love for Abraham Lincoln. If I had lived in the 1800s, I would have been a shrieking fangirl for him and going to all his speeches, traveling across the country, throwing my pantaloons on stage at him. I would run the fan site or the fan bulletin board in the middle of town. I love me some Abraham Lincoln. He's a super cool guy. And that's my thesis statement for my life. Those were all of your questions, and this video was ridiculously long. If you got this far, I am extremely impressed. So